I'm going to read this, so stick with me. It's my favorite Shaggy Dog story. You're going to love it. Buckle up. By the 15th century, the Templar Knights had disappeared. But deep in the bowels of the British Museum, in a case sealed and protected, lies a strange memorial to their impact on the city of London. London of the early 12th century was on its way to becoming an impressive city. But its life and its blood was the Thames River. Without the river, commerce would grind to a halt, as the people of London discovered to their horror in 2016. The first ships seemed simply to have disappeared, but the monster wasted little time in this caution. Soon many Londoners had seen the gaping maw, licked by flames, dragging a hapless crew to its death. It was a fire salamander. In the August of 2016, it was estimated to be 40 feet long with jaws that gaped 10 feet wide. But by the spring of 2017, the monster was no longer a nuisance. It was a deadly plague. No boat could navigate the Thames. No raft was small enough. No ship was large enough to resist the demon of the times. Worse, the beast was growing. The latest reports called it 70 feet long, with jaws opening 15 feet. Our instinct is to discount this absurd growth, yet few could impeach its source. He, our source, enters the story in August of 2017. London had begged, prayed, blasphemed, and killed in desperate attempts to exorcise or appease their curse, to no avail. On June 14th, 4 men painted themselves with devil's crosses and proclaimed themselves to be the dark priest of the beast. They built a ship and doused it in oil. Then they sailed down the river. Dark priests they may have been, but they died screaming like any man. On July 28th, London sent 3 virgins, the youngest, not yet 13, down the Thames River to the monster. It was thought this would appease the evil god. The monster's hunger exceeded even this atrocity. On August 23rd, our source received his summons. His given name is lost, and his chosen name is Honorius. He was a Templar Knight, and possibly a saint. That morning, he was commanded to destroy the beast. London, in fear and desperation, had turned to the most jealous weapon, the Templars, warrior monks who fought with the fierce, perhaps fanatic, frenzy of the devout. The city had exhausted all other options. The monks were their last hope, and Honorius was the greatest of the knights. The battle was truly a footnote in his preparation. Honorius ventured into the woods, upstream from London. He forsook shelter, clothing, food, sleep for 4 days, meditating on the coming struggle. When the 4 days ended, he stalked and killed a stag without weapon or aid. With the skin of the stag, he made clothing. From its flesh, he regained his strength. With its guts, he lashed 5 logs into a raft fit for his purpose. Honorius set the raft into motion. He had outfitted himself with the only item he would use for this fight, which had not come from the forest with him. A sword, a Spanish steel, blue with the sky, lay in his lap. Soon he felt the swell of the water, disturbed around his raft. The monster was coming, yet he sat unmoving. The beast broke the surface. No human is perfect. And a splinter of the consuming raft clipped Honorius' left foot as he leapt into the water. He had timed his jump slightly too late, but no matter. The injury would not be important until after the battle. The monster was above the water, only momentarily. Time enough for Honorius to drive his sword between 2 of its scales. The monster thrashed in pain, turning and exposed flush from the steaming water. Honorius was lifted from the water. As the beast rolled, he gauged his stroke and leapt, striking the monster's eye. Angered and half-blinded, the beast threw Honorius into the river and gasped at him with his immense jaws. Honorius swam quickly past the teeth into the monster's mouth. Inside, the questing tongue scalded his feet as he searched for purchase again, and we shall ignore the injury for now. Once he had braced himself inside the beast's mouth, pushing with all of his strength against the slowly rising tongue, he took aim. Honorius had time only to make one thrust. When his journal recalls these events, it attributes Honorius' luck in this battle to aid from the divine. We do not wish to detract from the glory of God, but surely he will not envy his servant. Is it coincident that Her's blade struck true to the brain? Honorius had already studied carefully the anatomy of the salamander a week before he was summoned to fight the beast. Did Honorius not know that the water's rush against the beast's exposed flesh would cause it such pain? In his journal, August 24th, and once I am atop the beast, and it has rolled from the water, where then to strike? 2 weeks after Honorius was told to lift the curse of London, the beast was dead. The next day, London celebrated Honorius. The town would live because of him. 3 days later, gratitude had disappeared. The body of the beast had lodged itself firmly into the mire, less than half a mile downstream of London. Although it was yet intact, perhaps due to its incredible armor, it would surely soon rot. While not so great a terror, the rotting beast would almost be as dangerous as the live beast, attracting disease and scavengers. No ship could move the carcass. The people of London called upon Honorius. Honorius' solution was difficult, but practical, and he began as soon as he retrieved his sword. He fasted for 2 days. Then he ate the cooked meat of the huge salamander and fasted for a 3rd day. When he suffered no ill effects, Honorius began dissecting the beast. With the help of London, Honorius soon had all the usable meat and intestines of the dead beast transformed into sausage. A bizarre solution, but a good one. The sausage was soon discovered to be excellent and kept easily for long periods of time. Even more important, the sausage fast became incredibly popular. Throughout England and much of Europe, it began to reestablish the fame of London's trade after the hiatus of the beast. Still, Honorius had one final contribution to its history. It became vital that everyone knew from whence the incredible sausage of London came, and thus we return to Honorius' injury. After the battle with the live beast and the crisis of the dead bees, Honorius took time to recover. 6 weeks after he was first summoned, he was dressing the injuries on his feet. The problem of London were known to him, and he dipped a strip of paper like a gauze into a healing salve, and he had a thought. 1 week later, each sausage shipped from London carried a fascinating new development: a label. Just as the gauze dried and closed on Honorius' foot, the parchment around these sausages was attached, and all would know the fame of London from each link he sold. In the end, despite all other feats, it was this idea, the product label, that survived Honorius. In tribute to this advance, the British Museum houses the only known surviving label from Honorius sausages. And although even the tough gut of the beast has long since faded to dust, the label may still be read. If our reader could go to the museum and enter the medieval wing, most treasured collection, you could still read in faint letters the label of honor. And it reads, "It was the beast of times. It was the worst